My name is Luke Bragg. I am one of the co-founders of Profila, and this is part of our series where we talk a bit about the Profila way, the mission and philosophy behind what we're trying to accomplish with data relationships and rebalancing the world between individuals and those who wish to sell them products and services and wish to have their information. Yesterday we covered kind of the basis of the Profila way. And today we're going to talk about the article that is on Medium that you can see also linked on Twitter called It's You, It's Yours. Quick background on that. In the early days of Profila, we had a lot of discussions, a lot of conversations about kind of finding slogans and taglines. How do you capture such a big idea in just a quick little phrase? And I was lying in bed one day and thinking about Profila, and it came to me. I said, "It's you, it's yours." And I just laid there and I thought, gosh, a little bit of modesty here. I wonder if this is the guy who came up with "just do it." Felt at that moment, because it felt like the first time that it captured exactly what Profila was doing for individuals and the superpowers we want to give people. It's you, it's yours, which I'll go into explanation a bit more today. So hopefully after you understand the full explanation, every time you say a tagline, you go, yep, I understand exactly what Profila is trying to do. This article starts out with an homage to Anchorman from the famous scene of Ron Burgundy trying to explain to a woman he was interested in that he was indeed a big deal. He has was a warm mahogany wood and leather coated books at home. But in our contention is you are a big deal. And we know this because people are trying to stalk you online all the time. They're going to the deep crevices of the internet and tracking you and such, and they want to get to know you. So you must be a big deal to them. And that puts you and everyone else in a position of power. And Profila is designed for that. It's designed to empower people with a tool that they don't have now, but is required and is necessary, and is the path toward a much better way of how we deal with anyone else in the world, whether it's certain other individuals or other organizations that want something from us, and we should be in control of that. So Profila was born, like many, many startups, with a problem that we want to solve in our own lives. I want a mature Profila. I want to be using Profila for the rest of my life to control the flow of information, to get myself the best exclusive offers and such, to support the organizations I care about, all through a consensual data contract and a consensual relationship. And that's really what Profila is based on. And that makes it very easy to have a great deal of passion. And we've been a long journey as we've learned lessons and understood what we think the best model is. But we want it ourselves. And it's easy to keep going when I want the product. I want to be using Profila in the future, and I want to see the expansion of it. And I want to be constantly talking with people and seeing how the world evolves and seeing how that can inspire us to even better superpowers. That's what we don't think of features, we think of superpowers that we want to give individually. And these things have to be useful. And that's actually a topic of a future article and live stream early next week about how we think about features and mechanisms that we want to add to the platform. The promise of Profila is quite simple. We want to give you, everybody, the ability of the platform to create and manage the most accurate, authentic, and valuable information about you. And in doing so, you'll be putting a product in the market that is higher quality than anything else out there. Somebody can observe everything you do in life and on the internet, and they're going to get maybe a decent sense of you, but they don't know what's in your head and they don't know what's in your heart. And Profila will empower that, and then put you in the position where there's no reason for anyone to go anyplace else but to you for the best information and the best opportunity to influence your wallet share, influence your consumer decisions, influence different parts of your life in a positive way. So it's your Profila, and then the second part of it, which is obviously necessary as well, is you have full control. You are everything. You are the owner, you are the judge, jury, executioner of who has access to parts of your Profila, what they can do with it, how often they can contact you, And if they piss you off, you can revoke the contract. So we're helping you build something better, and we're giving you full control over it. And even if Profila as a business wants your personal data in our role as a commercial company, we've also got to subscribe to you. We live by the same conditions that any other brand does. And that'll actually be the topic of tomorrow's session, I think, about Profila eating our own dog food. Because we can't put ourselves in position to be above any brand in how we deal with individuals that we also want to access their information and communicate with them. We've made the joke, and we've posted some things also on Twitter about this. It's kind of like Breaking Bad, where we're telling people, you create the good stuff, you control the supply. And no, it's not methamphetamines, it's your Profila. I mentioned also yesterday, I think, that when we talk about the company Profila, it's a capital P, but when we talk about your Profila, it is a lowercase p, because our goal and our metric for success, soft metric for success, is that Profila just becomes a noun. It just means all the things that are under the umbrella of what your personal information is, your digital IDs, your wallets, your psychographics, your personal information, and any other data that you produce that needs to be yours in the future. All of that is your Profila, and that becomes a noun. So we know we're successful when you start hearing people say that. Let's start. The first part is, it's you. I said this at the Cardano Summit last year. I don't believe my search history reflects my value as a human being. I don't believe that my social media posts and likes and follows define the totality of my soul. But right now, that's how marketing is run. That's how the ads you see, that's how the things that are put in your feed, their guess is sometimes good, but based on this observed behavior that is such a shadow, such a limited facet of who you are. And that's good. There's actually value in that, because then that means that there's space in the market for a better product, one that you create. And that's what Profila was trying to do. Now, to do that, people are skeptical now. People are skeptical of social media platforms. I think a lot of people in your life probably share less than they did before. So the first thing we have to do is earn trust. And I'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow, about publicly declaring the things that we will never do. And making you, the community, and our partners in this, to make us uphold the things that we're promising to do. And also to build an incentive structure. I'm a political scientist by education, so I always think and talk in terms of incentive structures. And part of my job with my co-founders is to constantly think about how can we set up incentive structures for us so that we don't violate these norms. We don't turn into a villain. And a lot of that is being very, very specific about what we do, so we can't say, oh no, we didn't mean it that way in the future, by being very, very specific. And the second is developing a business model that if we violate your trust, we're done. So we can't be assholes. There's a lot of profit and growth in what we want to do, but it also is growth and profit that comes from doing things the right way. And we think there's a model for that. We think there's an opportunity for that. And we're building the structures and systems around us that incentivize us to act in the way that our mission is upheld. I talked about the fact that we want to help you create a better product and market. And I don't want to belabor the point of you're not really a product, but just that massive information about you that is being used now, making something better. And the real differentiator, there are two differentiators, I guess, between your Profila and anything else that's out there. The first is going to be your bona fides, the facts of your life and the flows of your life that will be captured by your digital IDs and your wallets that you'll be able to integrate within Profila. So if you need to prove for whatever reason out in the world that you live in a certain place or you have certain credentials, your Profila can enable that by aggregating all of your certificates and credentials in your digital IDs and your wallets. So that's a first differentiator that will simply make your life easier in the future. I joked yesterday on a call with a partner in the US that we want to destroy KYC. The KYC process now is slow, and it's It's kind of frustrating, but you should be able to have all the things you need on your phone or in your devices that prove whatever facts of your life that you want to the moment you need to. And that will be your KYC in the future. The second differentiator between what your profile will be in terms of value to anybody and what it is now, the first being the bona fides, is your psychographics. What's in your head and what's in your heart. And we take the approach of capturing that, or helping you capture that, through self-discovery quizzes. And it's been a very interesting journey to develop these, because almost every quiz you've ever taken is written by someone else for their benefit. And it's very, very hard, we've learned this ourselves, it's very hard not to bake in bias when you are developing a quiz for someone else. It's the language, the nudging, you're trying to get the answers you want, not the answers that are true. And so we've been very, very conscious of how to develop quizzes for you to ask questions of yourself and have those questions be accurate and true and objective, but also valuable for you, and also either in the answer itself or combined with other answers, the trends, what kind of traveler you are, those sort of things, valuable for somebody else. People like to take quizzes. I think we've all been on the internet or especially in the early days of Facebook, I think, seeing a link for 10 questions and it'll tell you what Hogwarts house you lived in, and they're fun. But the moment after you've done it, sure, you get something, maybe you share, so I'm a Huff and Puff or whatever, and then someone else has data that now they can aggregate and sell, and you get nothing from that. And so both the value of the self-discovery quizzes are for you. The answers are yours until you decide to share them with some other organization. And they're written in a way that we want to get accuracy on that. And also, we've thought a lot about this, about the metadata per question. That will be things like, okay, who should never see this question? So if your Profila states very clearly you're a vegetarian, you're not going to get any questions about how you like your steak cooked. There's no need. That's not relevant for you. And even the fact that that's not relevant for you is also part of the insights for you as well. And also things like, how often should this question be re-asked? Because things like fashion, things like travel, your sentiments about that change over time. So each question will be considered in its own way as, who should see this and how often is it asked, and what scoring is influenced by your answer. And it might be that your price sensitivity with travel is a aggregation of dozens of different questions and different aspects of traveling that are important to you, gives you a sense of your price sensitivity in travel. Well, a brand subscribing to that kind of information now has more knowledge than they had before about what kind of trips, what kind of package tours may be relevant for you, and not send you things that you can't afford or are lower end than you want or whatever. They're trying to match you better. Now they can't, or they have to guess. In the future, they'll be able to, because of those insights from those quizzes. We imagine the future that's, and I'll give a little hint of the name. We love the idea of UQ. And we imagine that may be a separate app on your phone in the future, where all it is you open it up and you're answering questions by yourself, and you're achieving badges and seeing insights. And you've got extra 5 minutes, and you like answering questions by yourself. Most people do. And the fact, if we've earned the trust of you, that you know that every answer you give is yours and no one sees it, no one gets any insights from it until you've said yes to a data subscription, then I think people will want to answer questions. They'll want to see, they'll want the insights about themselves, and they want their profile to be valuable, because a valuable profile will get them more out in the world, and they'll be rewarded by companies with exclusive content and offers and things. Yeah, so it's a radical approach. We're really excited about how we're going to develop more and more quizzes and questions in the future. We got a lot of plans, a lot of ideas for that. So that the psychographics, what's in your head and what's in your heart, again, makes your profile much more valuable than anything else currently on any data broker survey or server, and anything that a brand has about you in their CRMs. And that's the second thing we're probably going to destroy, is CRMs, because most information the company holds about you is a snapshot, and it gets older and more relevant every day. They have maybe contact information and transaction data, but the stuff that actually helps them market to you, they're going to get through your Profila, and they're going to come to Profila to get it. Now, the value of psychographics is a trend that Forrester named zero-party data. So if you think about the data world as it exists now, third-party data is data that somebody else bought from you, from an aggregator or a data broker someplace else, buying millions of email addresses. Not much consent in there, and also kind of low quality and low accuracy. You know, who knows how old that information is, but as we like to say, brands pay for third-party data because that's the only thing they have access to in many ways. It's what the market is now. Second-party data is if you sign up for a platform, and sometimes there'll be a checkbox that's they want to share your data with their partners. And so maybe it's consensual, maybe it's not. A lot of times it is, but you don't know what those partners are. Sometimes they express it, sometimes they don't. But you have no control over what those partners do with it. First-party data is data you provide. Let's say if you want to create a Facebook account, you got to put in your name and probably your age. So it's things you need to do for them, for them to enable you to actually use the platform. But zero-party data, the new concept, again, this is, you can read some great articles from Forrester about this, is data, information, insights that you share willingly, transparently, with a brand for your benefit, according to your rules. They can't sell it, they can't aggregate it outside of that, and it's because of that, it's going to be much more valuable and much more accurate than anything they have access to now. When I mentioned Profila being a noun in the future, it would also cover the idea of zero-party data. Yeah, so we spoke about this at the Cardano Summit. We actually did a panel on zero-party data and the value and the future of that, because it will be the most valuable product in the market for your data because it comes from you, and it's you feel good sharing it because the sharing is for your benefit. Now we talked to a lot of brands about this, and we were talking to a major hotel chain, and they said when they think about data, they think about the source, the type, and the quality. And that was what's important for them. That's how they judged a data source. And so think about what that looks like in the Profila model. Well, the source is you. And of course you can lie in your quizzes, but there's no real benefit to you to lying. And that's also, we talked about incentive structures. We wanted the incentive structure that we don't want bots. We want real companies and real people, and we're going to do the mechanisms to do that. And there's no value in just creating a false Profila, because you're going to get things that are irrelevant for you. And also with things like your digital ID certifying that you are, in my case, a resident in Switzerland, then I can't trick brands into paying me for my data, paying me for my Profila, because I live someplace else. No, I can actually certify that I live in Switzerland, and that's actually one of the credentials, the bona fides, that we can easily see being part of data subscriptions in the future. I'm going to read something from the article directly about source type and quality. We're going to help you make every other piece of data about you on the internet completely irrelevant by helping you create something more accurate, more authentic, and more valuable than anything gleaned from your online observed behavior. And that's a good summary. Your profile is going to be exceptional, an exceptionally high quality, because we're going to make it in your interest to do so. You're going to see the value of doing that. And it's going to have categories of insights that simply don't exist now. And imagine if you're a market manager at a major brand, why are you going to pay a third party for bad data about you, about someone else, when you can go straight to the source and get the best data, not just a snapshot, but ongoing with a data subscription. See how that person evolves. See how that person's behavior and activities and insights evolve to put them in different target segments that are much easier to market to. And it's not creepy because they told you. They consented to a data relationship. You are the greatest source of insights about you. And we're a platform that simply enables those relationships, and then gets out of the way. So that is the "it's you" part of our tagline. The second part is "it's yours." So all of this would be pretty moot if you could create an incredible data source and then it can just be stolen and sold and aggregated and used by people for their own purposes. It's yours, meaning the mechanisms we're developing for Profila, had developed, says that you have complete control over who has access to facets of your Profila. Nobody's subscribing to your whole Profila, because in a data request, they're saying, okay, here's the length of the contract, here's the amount we're going to enumerate you, here's the personal information we want, here's maybe the credentials or certificates we need, and also here are the categories of psychographics we want to have access to. And it should be relevant, obviously, for that brand. And you say yes or no. You have the full power of consent, because all of our relationships that we're developing are based on consent, transparency, and revocability. So you have to consent to it for them ever to see your data for the first time. You can always go back and see what active data subscriptions that you have and what's covered. And if for any reason you want to revoke that contract, you can click a button and it revokes, and that brand loses access to that data and also the ability to market to you in the Profila platform. And so those two things together, it's you, it's yours, really do capture what Profila is trying to do. And they have to go together. One doesn't work without the other, but both are pretty radical in how things work now. And we can also see that people are sharing less. People are becoming more savvy about what they share online, but also worried about their phones listening to them, installing ad blockers, things like that. They're becoming more savvy. So the data quality of what's out there is even degrading on its own because of people's individual behavior. And so this will be a revitalization both for individuals and for brands, that there is better relationships possible, but it requires trust, and it requires a rebalancing of power between individuals and those who want their data. And it's based on trust, transparency, and consent and revocability. And through that, to take the brand side perspective for a second, when they've done that, when they've brought their best customers on Profila and sent them data subscription offers and received yeses, now they have a collection of people that they can market to smarter than they did before, and they don't have to do kind of the spray and pray quantity market that is really how things work now, that you simply are putting as many messages in people's inboxes or social media as you can. You have to scream and yell to get any attention. Well, Profila is a quiet place. And because when you log into Profila as an individual, you're the center of the universe, the feed is only the brand you let in the door. And you can spend more time with those posts. The communication, the ads, the offers can be more thoughtful because they're not competing for that quarter second of time as you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or wherever. And that's really valuable. And so Profila right now is a retention play for brands. It's about bringing their best customers on to the platform, inviting them, learning more about them, serving them better, and expanding the wallet share. We're not an acquisition play at this time. We expect to be in the future once we have some volume. But when we talk to brands, we have a little mantra that we like to tell them, customer acquisition is sexy. Customer retention is profitable. Everything you see out in the world is trying to get awareness and acquisition, and that involves sexy ads and dynamic campaigns and such. But for someone who's already bought into your product or bought into your brand, they just want to feel special. They just want to feel served by what we're doing, and that's taking somebody from $0 to $100 of spending to your brand is a lot harder than extending someone from $100 to $500 a year by actually serving the needs that they have. That's where the profit comes in. But most of the marketing activity, because that's the creative part of it, is an acquisition. Super Bowl ads or billboards that are provocative or whatever. That's the fun stuff for the creatives, but it doesn't necessarily actually lead to the most profitability because it's just about acquiring somebody else for that first purchase. So that's it. It's you, it's yours. So it's you. It's the most accurate, authentic, and valuable information about you. And it's yours. You have full control over who has access to it, what they do with it, the terms of it, and revocability. And we think this model is vastly superior to what it is now. And as I said at the beginning, we want this product for ourselves. I want to live in the world where 100 brands subscribe to me, and I'm getting the best offers for the brands that I love, and be able to tell those brands, you know what, I don't need anything for the next 6 months, but when I do, I'm going to let you know, and I'd like a great offer for that point. Lower the tension, lower the clutter that's in all of our inboxes that we have. And there's an old proverb that I think about a lot, that if somebody has a dirty glass of water, don't tell them they have a dirty glass of water. Most people will get defensive and won't respond to that. Simply put your clean glass of water on the table and let them notice the difference. And that's why we think we're going to win. That's why we think we're all going to win, because brands will understand that they've been drinking dirty water for a long time, and that's why their retention rates, or that's why their conversion rates are very, very low. Their click rates are very low because they've been chugging dirty glasses of water. Well, that clean glass of water is you. It's your Profila. And that's all we want to do, is enable you to create that, let them see the difference, and not even think about going anyplace else to learn more about you. So that's our session for today. Again, I'm Luke Bragg, one of the co-founders of Profila. This is chapter 2 of the Profila Way. It's you, it's yours, and I will be back tomorrow with chapter 3. So you can see the article on Medium, or watch this live stream, and leave any comments you want on Twitter or in Medium, and I'll see you again tomorrow.